Defiance FM.
So the band formed in 2013, is that right? Oh, 2012 the band formed.
Yeah, the band, well, it actually formed like in 2012. We got like a different name, and like I think Wicho was like writing the songs in English, and I think we kind of wanted to get into a festival that a friend was organizing, but like he wouldn't let us in if we hadn't like anything recorded. So we recorded like these like really really shitty like demos in 2012, like the end of that year. Some of that stuff ended up being like in the first band's EP as El Shirota, but like with the actual name, and some of them were just like forgotten, I guess. But yeah, like we've been pretty much playing together, like we and I, since like 2012. That would be fair to say. But it didn't become like a thing until a year later. So yeah, 2013, 2012.
So the band was sort of forming slowly, like the sound was forming slowly over that first
Yeah,
year.
I feel like we wanted, to like do things in a certain way. I feel that like we all in a way wanted, like to sound like in a certain way for sure, not exactly like aesthetically, more like we just wanted to sound like really tight, and like rehearse and like actually be like constantly playing and stuff like that.
I
So,
think Ruben has just entered the meeting.
oh, nice.
I'll let him in now.
Cool. Yeah, so we pretty much like started like growing slowly. Some of us, we were studying, like college and stuff, so we couldn't like actually, like tour that much or anything. So we just kept, like playing and doing, shows out of town every once in a while, figuring out shit. And it was not until like I feel like maybe a year before the release of Tiempos Raros that like it actually like became like a band that actually tours.
Right, that's quite interesting because the band forms in 2012, and then your first full length album. I mean, obviously you're releasing stuff in that time, but the first like full album that you do is like 8 years later.
Yeah, because we were like releasing stuff like we kind of like attempted to do like our first LP in like 2014, 15. We recorded with a really good friend and producer Hugo Quesada. He plays like in a lot of like legendary bands from the city, and like he eventually had like his own thing called Exploded View with some of his like colleagues that were also like producers or like stuff like that. But it actually turned out to be like two separate EPs, which are like fairly like themed the same way, like aesthetically, like the artwork is basically the same. So it's just kind of like a continuum from like the first and second.
Right.
So that was supposed to be like a long play, but it ended up being like just like two EPs. So you could say that like that was our first LP, just divided in two parts or something like that. So I mean, there was like definitely like an album before. We had like several EPs before the record and like singles and stuff. But yeah, it basically took us like 8 years to say like, okay, this is actually an LP.
But it kind of means that you haven't rushed it. You released it when you knew the time was right.
Yeah, I mean, I said, like we were pretty much like studying and like doing other shit, so it was very hard to, like imagine ourselves like being touring and studying at the same time, like
Yeah.
yeah,
Just
it
say
was
hi to
just
Ruben
like
as
not
well.
gonna happen. Oh,
Hi,
¿qué pasó,
Ruben.
Ruben?
Hello. Sorry that I joined late. I had a little dog that, so I live on like the top floor of my house, and I always have like a little door for him not to go there because he likes to poop and peep everywhere. And we left a little latch, and he went in and he peed on some of the merch that we had, so it wasn't funny at all.
Oh, really?
Yes, so I was trying to clean it as fast as I can or save what I could before see. Sorry. But bueno,
Oh wow.
Ali,
Nice to meet you. My name's
that
John.
sucks. Good good to meet you, John.
So what on the merchandise?
Yes.
Is it bad?
Yes, so
bad news on the like on the middle of on the interview. I love this.
See. I went up and I saw like a little one. I was like, no, and then I started looking at all the rooms, and I don't know. I think we don't like each other for some reason, and he knows it. And he was like, okay, I'm gonna fuck with you, but I'm gonna fuck with you where it most hurts you.
What's the most valuable thing in this room?
Yeah, like okay, let's be on the white ones.
Yeah.
Well, lucky we only had 4 of those remaining, but it was like, okay. Yeah, so sorry for.
It's gonna be the new pre-washed collection.
And it's like a new tie-dye version of the. Yeah.
Very limited
it's
edition.
Gonna be the bleach dye edition or something like that. You know.
Bleach, yellow dyed.
Lovely. You know what? When I do these interviews with people at home, the pets are always such a problem. I've had to interview people who have had to just sit in their car because their dog won't stop barking. I was interviewing one guy, one band, and the drummer, his dog threw up on the kitchen floor in the middle of the interview. It's always the pets.
These guys just chilling.
Oh,
Nacho seems to be a very good friend with his dog. I have 2 dogs. I have a big one and a small one. And the small one is I don't know. We have like a not very good relationship. Not sure what it was. Anyway,
we're just talking about the kind of early formation of the band. So I'll just tell people who maybe haven't heard of you guys before. So you're from Satellite City, which is in the greater area around Mexico City. Is that right?
Yes, it's right in the border with the north part of the city.
And is there much of a music scene there? Like I was reading, it seems to be a bit of a cultural center, but I don't know how that applies to the rock scene there.
I'm not sure right now, but before around 2010, there was a lot. Like we had a lot of friends that threw parties, and you could really feel even if they were cover bands, they kind of mixed between covers and own songs and original songs. Sorry, and. Yeah, there was always like a somewhere to go to listen to friends playing music, either houses or like really shitty venues that we had up here. That most of them don't exist anymore, so that's why we ended up recurring mostly to house because at the same time, it was really fun to be able to take your own beers to somewhere and not have to buy anything at a place super expensive. So it was more fun just to be in a party and there's a band and 100 kids are enjoying the band, but if you're really not into that, you can still hang out somewhere else in the party. So that's why probably there was a lot of people in those parties back then.
There's a big, there was a big DIY scene. Like it doesn't have to be about venues, promoters.
Yeah, no, we didn't have like any infrastructure. It was not like there's no like indie labels. Like I mean, there's some people that do like these like really nice exercise of like dubbing their own tapes and like recording with friends, but like nothing like serious or anything like that. So it was more like definitely independent DIY house shows. Yeah, as Ruben said, like there's not really a venue. There's like one trova space that has been forever called El Sapo Cancionero, but it's not really like they have like a scope and it's trova music. And that's about it, which is basically acoustic songwriting, like songwriter stuff.
And also in that place, you needed to sell 30 tickets each to be able to throw a show. So that you ended asking your dad for the remaining 1,000 pesos that you didn't end up selling to be able to play with that. So that's why we end up recurring to house. It was better all around.
And when it comes to your sound, you guys are obviously pretty heavy sounding. Obviously, like there's still loads of space for melody and loads of different dynamics in your music. Where did that sound kind of form? Where did that come from? Have you all got shared influences, or did everyone just bring something different to the table?
Yeah, I mean, I as I said, like since the beginning, we had like pretty much an idea of like that we wanted to be like a legit band, but about like the music, it was kind of weird because like we shared like a certain like love and interest in like punk and hardcore and stuff like that, but we also liked other stuff that was really poppy and stuff, like I don't know, we were just like kind of like into everything that like to our ears was good. And we kind of like started like combining all these, through the years. Like Ruben also likes, like he kind of likes like like certain like pop singers and stuff, and he plays like that on tour, sometimes like on the car, which as well, we all kind of like a lot of different stuff, so I guess it just like I don't know if like consciously it just like started to happen, slowly.
Right. And you were saying before we started recording that obviously as a band, you've got three different singers within the band and you all share vocal duties. And if somebody's written a song and they like it, they present it to the rest of the band. So does that mean that what the band puts out, you've got lots of different styles?
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think
like
I think
every
that's
like,
bueno, dale, dale.
no. I was just gonna say like first of all, we basically like the authorship, we just split it into like whatever number of people were like collaborating during like that time to a song, and just we just like do it like that. I don't know what Ruben was gonna say. I was just like gonna
See, it's pretty. The thing is that I think that's a really good strength of El Shirota. We, as you said, we have three different voices, and although it's the same musicians, the songs tend to change in the vocal area a lot in between the three of us, and that's I think like a really cool thing because we've always enjoyed shows where I don't know if you go to, for example, like a festival and there's 10 hardcore bands by the third one you just don't I don't know me I don't want to be there anymore because it's the same all the time, so I think that it's a really cool thing to be able to change both in music and in vocals in the same band. And I don't know, you probably can hear a song like Desobediencia and a song like RDB and you probably think that it's a completely different band, right? I don't know, I remember Nacho showing me one time this band called The Men, and they had like this song called Immaculada. They had this record called Immaculada, and then they had this. It wasn't Nacho the New Moon one, the one that is all acoustic.
yeah. They start like
See, and
fucking becoming like a country band like out of nowhere, and like
yeah, and it's really cool that just that at the end that it's the same band trying different things, but at the same time keeping a certain type of line underneath it all. So I think that's a really cool thing to do. Also, it doesn't get boring. I don't know. For me, it would be boring to be playing the same type of song all the time for the entire set. So we can have like a really punk 2 minute song, and then we have like a 12-minute song that it's the same all the time, and then we have like a really calm down song. Like it kind of feels like a roller coaster thing on the set where you feel like a lot of emotions during it, and you can go hard and you can go slow and you can do everything pretty much. But it's the same type of line, and that makes it interesting for us.
I was listening to your stuff today because I was driving from Liverpool to Manchester, which is about an hour's drive, and it's on a motorway, it's one of the most boring roads in the UK. Like there's nothing to look at. It's just grey sky, obviously, because it's the UK. So I put on your album, kind of doing my research for the interview. And yeah, I agree. Like if it had just been the same tempo all the way through, like it might have got boring, but it was constantly changing. There were some instrumental pieces. Sometimes it's quite upbeat. Sometimes it's like down. Sometimes it's, heavy. Sometimes it's softer, more melodic. So I can kind of see how everyone's different songwriting is contributing to a nice, diverse range of songs.
Exactly.
Definitely comes across in your work.
I mean, as I said,
it's sorry.
We're just music lovers, like we like to listen to a lot of music, so I guess like that's what we want to like also share to others.
And since you've put out your first album your popularity has just been growing and growing, hasn't it? Like within Mexico, and then you've started to tour across the US as well. What's that been like to have people recognizing your songs and recognizing you before you come to play for them?
Well, I don't know. I just want to make the point. The most interesting one for me lately has been the one that we were in Serbia playing, and I saw a guy singing one of the songs in front of Nacho, like the lyrics. I was like, oh, it's not even the same type of writing. The letters are different, and this guy is singing like with passionately from Nacho. I was like, wow, this is completely insanity, for me, like being able to see that person do that. And I remember by the end of the show, we were in the merch table, and this person came up to us, and I asked him like, hey, do you know how to, like, do you know Spanish? He was like, no, I just, we call it in Mexico, we call it guachaguachear, which is when you don't know what the lyrics are saying. Like, I don't know, for example, when you were younger and you were trying to sing it to a Ramstein song, you really didn't know what they were saying, but you were like, oh,
Du hast.
And he told
I
me
have
that
no
he
idea
was,
what du
yeah,
hast means.
exactly. But you go, du hast, and that's exactly what he was doing. He was like, no, I really don't know the Spanish, but I'm just singing to the melody of it because I don't know, I like it. So, but for me, that was the most like the most craziest one that I've seen so far.
That's cool. And where was that? Sorry, did you say San Diego?
No, in Serbia.
Oh, in Serbia.
Serbia,
Yeah,
yes.
we just came back from our first Europe tour. That's funny.
Wow. That's a long way for your music to travel.
Yes, we also went to the UK for a couple dates.
Where did you play?
We played London, Liverpool, Ramsgate, Bristol, and one more that I'm not sure which one it was. Chelmsford, ándale.
The famous Chelmsford.
Okay.
It's just an inside joke because, like, I guess we asked like a lot of people, like they asked us constantly like, where do you play or where are you playing next, and we kept saying like, oh yeah, all these cities, and we mentioned Chelmsford, and all of the UK people were like, where's that? So that was just like concerning for like a while. We were just like, wow, like where are we gonna go play? And like it actually ended up being a nice experience.
Down in Essex, is that right? Down south, kind of close to London, but not that close.
It's close to the place, Essex.
Yeah, I only know that because I have a friend from there. Otherwise, I probably would have never heard of it.
Yeah, it's a well hidden secret. It seems like that.
One of Britain's many hidden gems.
Yeah. No, but if you want to talk about a gem, I would have to say the Ramsgate one was also the craziest experiences we had at least on the UK, and probably the whole tour. It was this really tiny place, but as soon as you went in, you started seeing like all these quirky little things that they had, and they had an amazing setup. It was like a 3-story building, and they had like 7 or 8 cameras on the stage. But if you were upstairs, they had like a closed circuit of the cameras with a switcher, like just presenting the band with the live mix, and the mix sounded insane. So it was, we've never experienced any of that before, and yeah, that was really cool to see.
And where did you play in Liverpool?
I don't remember the place exactly. It was just near the port, and I was gonna say just near aside from like a record store or something.
Jacaranda. Phase 1 maybe. Phase 1 Jacaranda.
No, I believe it was like a different name, but definitely like the spot was really nice. It had like a patio, and then like they had like inside the venue.
It's called Casimir Stockroom.
Oh yeah. And it's got like a wooden tower.
Yeah, I think so. Something like that. Yeah, like on the patio or something.
Yeah, I know the one. It looks like a little courtyard.
Yeah, there's like a courtyard and then like the venue, yes.
Yeah, I know that. Oh, nice.
I mean, we played with honestly, one of my favorite bands of tour was actually like a band that we played there. They're from Manchester. They're called the Slap Rash.
Oh yeah,
amazing band. Yeah, super cool band. Lovely people, great music.
Yeah, the music scene in Manchester is very everyone supports each other.
Yeah, honestly, like every show in the UK was good. You know, like they all had that, you know, their thing. There was always like something going on, either like on the lineup or just, you know, like the people that came to the show, just like there was like something always happening. I feel like it's pretty much alive. It feels pretty much alive.
How does it feel when you're because obviously you've done so much touring, like, you know, you've done Mexico, obviously you've done the US, the UK, Serbia. How are you adapting to, because you said before that obviously you were too busy for touring, you know, that's why it took so long for your first full-length album to come out. How have you found the change to life on the road? Has it been difficult, or are you just loving it?
I think I can talk to Ruben. I can talk for Ruben that like we're just trying to figure out, you know, a way of like just keep touring and also paying the bills, because like now we're kind of like slowly, you know, like transitioning, like a lot of us, you know, into like certain responsibilities, you know. So we're just trying to, you know, like navigate that. Ruben's not in Mexico City, but he was gonna like fly to Seattle to meet his partner, and I'm just here in Miami right now, and you know, going back and forth to Mexico. So yeah, we're just trying to figure out, you know, like a way of like having jobs that lets us also, you know, like go out and just like keep doing it. Because like the thing is, like, I mean, we're definitely like having a pretty much a really good time as a band, but also like we have this like spare times, you know, between like certain tours that is just like we have to like occupy ourselves in other things, you know. So
Yeah, and I
pretty
also
much
think it's
balancing it.
we yeah, we need to we are kind of like building it a little by little, like we did in Mexico. Luckily for us, this last tour that we did in Mexico was probably the first one that every single date was a success. And mostly the Mexico City one has been the most insane show we've had so far. Like our own show, like it's El Shirota. It's not a festival. It's not like we're opening for someone. It's not so. We've been building it for, as probably Nacho told you, like for 10 years now, and that's what we're trying to do in other places. Definitely, the language barrier is a thing for us, but at the same time, we're really proud of our language and how it sounds, and we think it's a cool thing to be true to that, right? To say, okay, we've heard this language for all our lives, and we can express as much as my well, Nacho and my girlfriend are from the US, and as much as I sometimes try to I don't know, to tell her something in a certain way in English, it's not the same thing for me to tell her like what I want to say completely in English, because I know it fully in Spanish, and I believe that that's exactly how we also feel about what we're saying in our music. We
Right.
know exactly, and we know that the power behind our words, and because the music just goes along with it, and we definitely feel that. But as I was telling you, like I don't know, it's crazy. Like the biggest example that I have, that I already said it, no, like Ramstein can fill up stadiums in Mexico, and I'm pretty sure that 95% of the people don't know anything else besides the name of the song, but they still can do it, and that's the power of music, right? Like it doesn't matter the language that you speak or if you even understand it. It's just something that goes beyond that, and we're definitely trying to build that up, and in other places that not Mexico or around Mexico, with people that are not only Spanish speakers, right?
I would say like to add just to Ruben's, you know, thought, like I feel like also as like Ramstein, there's like other examples like right now throughout, you know, just like what's happening like worldwide, that is very inspiring in the sense that like right now you have bands like Altingon or just like Dungen from like Sweden. I think Altingon is like from Turkey, right? And they're just like singing on their own language, but like I don't know how they manage to just go worldwide and just play throughout the world, you know, their music without like having to necessarily surrender to the music in English. Even though I believe that like, you know, there's like certain countries that like have like predominantly like English pop music, even though like their language is not English. I feel like it's very inspiring, like to see all these other, artists like trying to do, their own thing.
Yeah, it must be an interesting question for bands who are non-English speaking. If they think, okay, we could get more popular in the US, for example, or in Europe if we switch to English, but at the same time, to do that, yeah, you're like you said, Ruben, you're compromising the meaning of the lyrics maybe because you're passing it through a filter.
I mean, it's like you trying to decipher something that you're not. I don't know how else to put it. And also adding to what Nacho said about the yes, there's band, but even if you go to singers, like if you go to reggaeton singers, well, they're filling up stadiums all across the U.S. and all across the world, and it's mostly Spanish music.
Yeah,
we're not like against any of that music. I'm pretty sure the four of us love also reggaeton music and Bad Bunny and all that type of music. And I think it's really cool that in a certain way, probably in an indirect way, they're also opening the doors for a lot of, at least speaking for us, like the Spanish speaking bands or music going out, because it's okay. Probably, I don't know if rock music is not as popular in Spanish, but okay, reggaeton is super popular in Spanish. Okay, pues maybe there's, like it kind of opens a little canal or something for the other type of music that it's also in that language.
making a new path.
Exactly.
And you put out an album
really
earlier
cool.
this year. Is that right? When did that come out?
Yeah, that's correct.
In May 16 or 17 around. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry for my pronunciation. Siquiera estamos listos para. Ni siquiera estamos listos para hablar.
Yeah.
That was perfect.
Really?
Really good. Nice.
It's okay.
Yeah, it was good.
Which translates to we're not even ready to talk.
Yeah, basically.
I wanted to ask: was there a reason why that title was chosen?
Yes, I believe so. I believe yes. I believe Wicho and I, when we were just like trying to figure out like most of the lyrics, we found like certain things in common, throughout like different songs that like resembled like kind of like a lot of like feelings about like I guess like digital times and just like communication in general, so I guess like that phrase resembled like the most like kind of like what's going on inside. It's kind of like chaos and it's a little bit messy, but I mean, as we said, also musically it's like that, so that's part of like what we like to do, just like not really like think pretty much like about like these, just like kind of like during like the process we just like started to find like similarities and stuff and just like kind of like connecting the dots.
So you write everything and then you look for the themes in between the songs.
Yeah, I feel like it just felt like a coincidence, like a funny coincidence, and it was like, okay, like pretty much like all the record like is like constantly like going through these type of like themes right now, so yeah, it just made sense.
That's cool. It's a really good album, by the way.
Thank you.
So what are your plans for, I was going to say the rest of this year, but there's only really a month left. What's your plans for the rest of this year and then 2024?
Well, I feel like we were thinking of going back to Europe around the middle of the year, a little bit more towards the end. So we need to do more music to be able to have an excuse to go. So probably, yeah, we're gonna ride. We're gonna probably rest also a little bit from each other. We saw each other for a very long time, all day, just looking at our faces. And as much as we enjoy each other's company, that can get heavy. So we're also taking this time. Gabriel is just touring with his other band right now, so we're kind of all like Nacho said before, right? Like we all do this, but at the end we need to go back and have our jobs and do our own life, and then
Back to
come back
reality.
again, and then leave and come back like a little sponge, you know. Yeah.
I really hope you guys come to the UK again.
Yeah, I'm
I
pretty
think
sure we will. We
that's gonna
we had a
happen.
really we had a really fun time there, and pretty good shows. So hopefully,
The festival
yes,
scene
we
is
can
pretty
do it.
good in the UK because obviously our summer is so short. You know, it's like you get 2 decent months in the whole year where it's not just pissing with rain constantly. So we try and like we get all the festivals in that sort of 2-month period, and it's a party, you know. It's expensive, but it's fun.
So yeah, I imagine this is what it is. It's how it is right now. So hopefully we can do it. The only thing that is it's kind of similar to US in the sense that we need to pay a lot of extra things to go to the UK.
Yeah, of course.
So
I imagine
sometimes
getting
that
the
can
visas
compromise.
and getting all the travel and getting all the instruments
Yeah.
over.
Yeah, we need to get we needed to get like a permit. I don't, and that costed us, and I think apart from that, that's it. No, but it adds a significant cost to be able to go and play there. So we need to figure out good shows to be able to afford it.
Yeah, it's not easy for touring musicians.
But it's easier
This
than
is
the
not the
US.
best
Let me tell
time.
you that.
This is not the best time to tour, but you know, I guess we are very stubborn. So you know, I mean that's pretty much like what it needs to try to put out your music. Just be very stubborn, because like if not, you're gonna be very disappointed at yourself really fast.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like
the
we
bands who
joke
can
around with
face those challenges. Sorry,
yeah,
Ruben?
we joke around a lot with you drive 9 hours to play half an hour and do it again.
And all the show fee goes straight onto
Yeah,
fuel.
it's not like a very simple thing.
Straight onto fuel.
Exactly.
Go Zingos out.
So yeah, it's
Well, I hope you
it's
can
cool. It's
rescue
worth
that
it,
merchandise.
at least
I
in
hope the
our
dog hasn't
opinion,
done too much damage.
I really hope to. We'll know in exactly like 25 minutes how it looks.
Is the
Keep us
washing machine
posted.
Hopefully-
going now?
The washing machine is up like the past 30 minutes. I put it in the harder wash that it could be. I poured like half the container of soap, and let's hope for the best.
People should know this is the reality of life in a band. This is behind the
is.
scenes.
Sometimes your dog just pees on your merch, and you need to do whatever you need to do, you know, to get it out.
All right. We'll leave it there then, guys. Thanks so much for doing this.
Thank you, John. Thank you for
Thank
the
you too,
invite. I'm
John.
sorry for the late replies and
No,
it's
you
been
had a good
really
reason.
messy a little bit, but all good. Thank you very much.